Hello, today we are back to once again terrorize the patrons of the Am I Wrong subreddit with Florida Man. Now, the way this series works is that we use the Florida Man generator to give us a story. I have to try to concoct something that makes him sympathetic based on this. Last time, it did not go well. Let's see what our story is this time. Florida Man fights neighbor's family for urinating in his microwave. I don't even know what to make of this. I can't say I've ever heard of such a thing. We're going to want to involve alcohol again, I would imagine. That's the only way to provoke such an incident, as far as I see it. So I decided to take some liberties with this. Instead of saying it was a whole family that peed on the microwave, we're just going to say it was one guy to make it a little more believable. And also, we're going to say it caused a verbal fight. You know, we're trying to make him sympathetic here. If he physically fought someone over this, it would be a little worse. But honestly, Florida Man's pretty justified. I mean, the guy peed on his microwave. So here it goes, and this is a doozy. About 2 weeks ago now, I had a get-together with friends that ended up getting a bit raucous. We all needed to blow off some steam, as we work in a stressful field. My neighbor, who I was only strong acquaintances with, ended up latching onto the party, which I had no issue with, especially considering that he does not seem to have many friends. There were 7 guests total, and around midnight, after a large amount of alcohol had been consumed, my 2 best pals and I were sitting around the fire pit. I started to notice the other 5 were getting particularly loud inside. Not knowing why, I assumed they were drunk and having a good time. That's when it happened. Uproarious shouting that could not be ignored. Then one of my friends, who was inside, ran out to get me. "He's peeing on your fucking microwave!" I could hardly register what was being said at first. I followed him inside, where I then saw my neighbor attempting to zip up his pants, in a delirious state. Smoke was indeed coming off at the microwave, and it was visibly dripping wet. My friends were just standing around in shock. I grabbed my neighbor and tried to get him to look at me, but he was not exactly present, just smirking, which pissed me off greatly. I yelled at him and pushed him out of my house. He must have fallen asleep on my lawn. Some of my pals stuck around to help with the cleanup job before leaving. I was so exhausted and out of it, I fell asleep on the couch shortly thereafter. Oh, good God. I'm awakened by a knock at the door at 8 a.m. or so. The neighbor is now at my door, pleading not to tell his family about the incident. I had gone to bed so late that I felt hungover and angry to even be awake. I snapped. I ranted about how I would destroy his life and wouldn't rest until he lost his job, wife, and kids. I didn't really mean these things and was excessively harsh. He began blubbering, punching walls and wailing. It was at this point it dawned on me that he has some kind of disability. It had been a passing thought, but before it wasn't something I had really registered. He ran away in this distressed state, and I suddenly felt bad for losing my cool on him. Am I wrong for treating a disabled person this way, even after what he did? Now, I think this story is going to be perfect to fuck with the brains of Reddit users, so I'm going to go to sleep. When I wake up, we're going to see what happened with this post. I just want to say I'm so honored to everyone who's helped me capture this achievement in trolling history, and I will gladly accept your introduction into the shitposting Hall of Fame. When I started trolling, I was just a 14-year-old kid making prank calls, and I can't believe it's come this far. Guys, what the fuck? How did this happen? I mean, 250,000 people? I shouldn't have this much power. This is so fucking scary. Well, while I try to get over my existential crisis, we can look at the results, as you've already seen. It is the top post on the entire Am I Wrong subreddit currently. There's an insane and frankly overwhelming amount to get into, but I'd like to start on a lighter note, though an irritating one. These comments have revealed to me the sheer number of people who are pissing on things all over the place. This poster has dated 3 men. They've peed in her bed, on the wall, on her couch, and in the refrigerator. She's known guys who have peed again in the refrigerator and by the bed. She's known a guy who's pissed in a VCR. I guess he lifted the slot up. I'm not done. There's sinks, there's trash cans, there's pantries, there's closets. Drinking in our culture is so universally acceptable that it's commonplace to destroy your own things and other people's things this constantly. I mean, this is a country in America I'm talking about where marijuana is still illegal. And, I mean, vandalism based on drinking is this normalized. To be clear, it's perfectly fine to drink responsibly, just stop wrecking other people's shit. Now here's someone representing the position of OP, original poster. No, if you piss on someone's appliance, you need to pay for it. It's not OP's duty, and he shouldn't be blamed for someone else's state. It's his alcohol, but his guests are adults and should know by now their tolerance. There was a line that said he was smirking. Something tells me he knew what he did was wrong. This is not on OP. Now here's someone representing the opposite position. Okay, immediately telling someone you're going to ruin their life and will not rest until they've lost their job, wife, and children because they did something indecent, disrespectful, and unsanitary in your home while they were incredibly intoxicated is completely unhinged. Like, are you all seriously going to sit here and pretend that telling someone you're going to take their fucking family away from them and you won't rest until they do is normal and a reasonable thing to say in any context? As you can see, these people all write like they're in an essay contest, and this is a life or death matter that personally affects them. So there was one major accusation that also sprang up on the side that was against OP,
Yep, OP is ableist.
and essentially a flame war was started between neurotypicals and neurodivergents. These were not terms I was even really aware of before this. You see Wasabi here. This person was all over the chat and came off as pretty crazy. And this person is just an obvious asshole who was rightfully corrected by the person in the comment beneath them. So essentially, here's the argument: bigotry. These days, if someone acts like a POS, they have to have something. Why not write off autistic people for this POS neighbor's behavior? I think this person had the right response, so I'm going to read it to you. Blah. Words are words, actions are worse. This wasn't a hate crime, it wasn't a slur. Yeah, it sucked, but the other person was worse. Sometimes when people do shitty to you, you don't respond with love, kindness, and understanding. You tell them to go the fuck to hell because they did something shitty. And then there was this person who said threatening someone is a form of assault and able to be charged. They're rightfully corrected by the person in the comment above them. No, he didn't threaten his life. You read that wrong. I would not have written a post and put it on Reddit where I confessed to committing a crime. The distinction here is that he threatened to destroy his life. A criminal threat occurs when someone threatens to kill or physically harm someone else. Threatening to destroy their life is not that. Then there's this person who tries to argue it's not malicious to destroy someone's stuff, and they're clearly just getting defensive of this person because they're autistic. It's not a statement about autistic people as a whole, it's this one guy. I will call myself out in this respect. Unless your microwave was sacred to you, that was a really weird title. And indeed, the definition of desecrate is treat a sacred place or thing with violent disrespect. I am a bit of a moron, I do confess to that. But this fuck I have a bone to pick with. This is the most poorly written attempt at creative writing I've encountered recently. You know what? When your attempt at creative writing gets a million fucking views, you come back to me, okay? I did take that one personally. This person had someone writing a bunch of replies to them, taking it outside of the forum. It got crazy. I don't know. I think this is the perfect comment to wrap it up here. The kind of bullshit logic where two wrongs don't make a right. His neighbor was wrong to pee on his microwave. I don't think this has anything to do with autism. I've seen plenty of neurotypicals do dumb shit like this when drunk. OP was wrong to threaten to ruin his life over a microwave. It wasn't like the guy peed on his cat. And another one, exactly. This is a ridiculous situation where two drunk people acted drunk and did asshole drunk things. Everything here is easily mended. This sub is so fucking dramatic. Now, this post clocked in at 1 million goddamn views. I don't even know what to say about that. I'm just exhausted. I'm gonna put some of my favorite comments. People who actually had a sense of humor across the screen as we wrap up here. I think I'm gonna have to lay low for a while because I've just been doing too much damage on this subreddit. We're gonna do something else for our next video, but we will indeed return to the Florida Man generator. Till next time, Chatroom Surfer logging out.